Welcome to Diamond Niners Weekly, NCAA Tournament Edition. What's up, everybody? This is Nick, joined as always by Kevin.
What's up, Niner Nation?
Producer Brad making it all go.
Trying to. There we go. Hey.
Yes, sir. Producer Brad did indeed make his way back from Houston, and he is back and with us in one piece. So, okay, boys. So here's the deal. Here's the format for tonight's show, okay? This is going to be a work in progress. So we're live on YouTube now. Got everything working. Hopefully everything's working. We've got folks coming in. We've promised you Coach Woody. We've promised you Joe Templin. He did such a great job last week. He's coming back. And Jack Dragon. And they're coming. They have all been at a team dinner. That team dinner is wrapping up now. Heard from everybody. Everybody's texting, we're going to be – it's all good. We're going to get started here. As I told Joe, I think we've got a few things we could probably talk about. So we're going to do that while we wait on these guys. And as soon as they start to filter in, we're going to bring them to you live here on YouTube tonight. So – all right. Ben, will Producer Brad be in Clemson this weekend? Producer Brad, that's for you.
Well, I believe I'm there at least the Friday game, and I'm hoping I'm there on the Sunday game. So
yeah. So Producer Brad will be on scene for sure tomorrow night, and then let's maybe call it TBD the rest of the weekend / Sunday. Don't forget, folks, these regionals can extend into Monday if another game becomes possible. So we could be watching Niner baseball all the way into Monday, all the way through the weekend. So and hopefully not. Hopefully we just win the regional and advance to the Supers on Sunday. But to be determined. Stay tuned. Let's talk a little bit, guys. Last time we talked, we were on the air the night before the conference championship game. And everybody was feeling really loose, really good. It's like, hey, wow, we've won 4 games in a row. I'm just going to have to make it 5 for some hardware. Producer Brad was in Houston. Kevin, you and I were trying to figure out how we were going to watch the game. Oh, look at there
he is.
There is Producer Brad in Houston. We actually fussed at him beforehand that we could not see him on TV, and he moved. He actually moved to where he thought we could see him, and we were texting him things like, "Dude, move over 3 seats." And we finally got Producer Brad on CBS Sports, so he's a big star. Looks like you had some other Niners kind of move in down there around you as the game went on, Brad.
I'm trying to remember. Well, you had this is from the that was early on. That's the bottom of the second. Yeah, there was a couple
early in the game. There was John Deal was one section to your left. He's a local Niner, lives in Houston. Our video coordinator was down there at one point.
Yeah.
He stopped in, and then you had some kids down there.
I'm not sure what they were doing, but other than watching the game, but I don't know who they were. So no, but if I'm not mistaken, their dad was just teaching them about baseball. Like, hey, did you see that play? And this is what he did, and all that stuff. So. I think it was a kind of a educational trip, somewhat for the kids and the dad to just enjoy some baseball, I guess.
Yeah. So. See more folks jumping in the live stream. Oh, just a sec, Kevin. See more folks jumping in the live stream here since we got started. We're going to bring you Woody. We're going to bring you Joe Templin. We're going to bring you Jack Dragon. They are wrapping up team dinner. And are working on getting back to the hotel, and they're going to start jumping in when they get situated. So we didn't lie to you. We're going to bring it. We went ahead and got started to go ahead and keep our schedule. We're going to talk Niner baseball, talk last weekend, but as soon as those guys start jumping in here, we'll bring them to you. So stand by. You just have to put up with the 3 of us for a few more minutes until those folks come in, and then we'll bring them in and say, let's see here. Nate, our boy Nate. Hopefully we are not too loud this weekend. That would be a shame. Nate is referring to the softball regional at Duke, where some of our students were kind of targeted and maybe even escorted out on the final day, apparently for making too much noise. So hopefully they make too much noise again this weekend, but set without draw. Nate, Ben, I think y'all are going to be okay, because I think the Clemson folks have been there, done that, and they're kind of expecting, it's like act like you've been there before. I think that applies to the Clemson folks. Duke had not been there before, so they had no idea how to act. So, Ben. All right, Kevin. So yes, folks who tuned in to see our guest, stick with us. They're coming back from dinner. We'll bring them in as soon as we get them to you. Kevin, you were about to make a salient point, I believe.
I was going to ask Brad about the crowd, how it was. We listened to Joe on the broadcast. He said a lot of the fans were up in the shade up near the top of the grandstand, so you couldn't really see on TV what the crowd distribution looked like. Did Dallas Baptist end up bringing the crowd? And we didn't really hear much from them during the game.
Yeah, I would say there was definitely more of them, maybe about a 2-to-1 ratio, easily. Maybe could have been a little more than that, but I was kind of surprised that it wasn't packed out with them, with Dallas being so close. But I just don't know their baseball culture that well. So I don't know if they're a team that travels really well or not. But they were there. They made noise. They were supportive, good natured. I didn't see anybody have any problems with anybody. But
that's because South Carolina fans weren't there to fight each other.
But it was, it was a good close game, and they cheered when things happened well, and we made a lot of noise too. Definitely more of them, and I would say 95% of everybody that was there was in the upper stands, because they were trying to be in the shade. So there was barely anybody in the bottom bowl.
So as far as the game goes, they jump out. They jump out on top to 2-0 lead, and then the Niners just have the run of the thing from there on out. It felt like, even when we were playing from behind, it felt like that game was going to work out. I don't always feel this way, Kevin, but for whatever reason, I was nervous as all get out. Kevin and I were watching at his house, and I was pacing around his kitchen with the TV in the living room. But I don't know. The game felt very in hand from the early outset. I don't know if you felt the same way, but that's kind of how I felt.
Well, I did feel we had Wyatt Hudapole came back on short rest. He got in a little trouble in that first inning, but they got out of it with just allowing the one run. Went down 2-0, but he was pitching well, and just keeping us in it. And we kept fighting through, and we had a few opportunities and capitalized on those. I felt like Dallas Baptist was kind of I don't know, they weren't playing. They made a few mistakes. I think they were kind of.
Yeah.
I felt like they're kind of still out of tune, or it seemed like they weren't on point at some points during the game, because some of the plays seemed a little lackadaisical, like getting the balls back into the infield, some like the catcher's play. It just felt like we were more prepared. We felt like we were more prepared. We were more ready to play, and then they were kind of going through the motions at times. But yeah, they're a great team. Obviously, top 17 or 17th ranked team in the country, number one seed in our tournament, at large bid. I think they're in the Stillwater Regional. Great team. And Wyatt just came in, pitched great. We got Spoyar came in for an inning, got us 3, and then Kramer got the last 6. Great effort on the mound, great effort defensively. I'm sure we'll talk about that a lot later. But and great offense. We did plenty to. Plenty of offense to get us through the game. What was it, 5-2 final? So yeah, it did feel kind of comfortable once we got some insurance runs. But yeah, I felt the same way, Nick.
They honestly looked like the team that had played a bunch of games and had come out of the losers bracket. I mean, they looked a little tired. Or an alternate explanation could be that, I mean, maybe they were feeling the pressure. It's their first year in the league. Obviously, they're a storied program and a great team, but it's their first year in the league, and they're the 1 seed, and they're kind of supposed to win this game. And here we come. And maybe once we started making that run, I don't know. I mean, maybe they got too tense.
Yeah, we're playing our 6th game of the week. We're loose. We're playing on adrenaline. I think guys are probably exhausted, but they're playing. Their adrenaline's flowing. It's a championship game. Their backs are against the wall. It's winter. Your season's over. So they had a lot to play for. And Dallas Baptist was they were already in that large team. So maybe they had too much rest, and we were just kind of loose and ready to roll. But yeah, it was a good game. It was a good championship game. It was a good tournament. The tournament was great. I watched a lot of baseball that weekend, and our tournament was good. There's other tournaments throughout the country were good. So yeah, it's that great time of year. Baseball's on every day of the week.
Yeah, so obviously some big plays at the plate. Guys that stick out. We're going to avoid talking about the play that Jack Draga made on defense because he's going to join us, and we'll talk to him about that. But Spencer Nolan made a play at first where, I mean, he made as fine of a stop at first base for a big, huge out, unassisted out, as you'll see. He is, for a freshman, the young man has developed into an elite defender. Excited to watch him continue to play. Also had, I believe, let me make sure. Yeah, Spence also had an RBI as well. So great game from him. Fish kept doing his thing. Fish didn't home. It's the only game Fish didn't homer in, but he still had an RBI. He did his job. He made a great play on that 3rd out in the 9th to end the game. Just all around, man. Nobody that stepped on the field. Nobody that stepped on the field really put a foot wrong the whole 9 innings.
Well, really the whole tournament. You can go through the whole lineup and see where each player contributed. Butch had some good at bats. Got on base. Blake Jackson on base, scoring runs. Austin Knight making plays, getting that bunt down, making them make a play. That was a big play. Scored a run. I scored Butch on.
Yep.
He laid down a bunt and beat it out and made them make a mistake. So you mentioned Fish, drag them. Stallman had a huge tournament. DeFranco comes in, gets a couple hits, plays good defense. Cunningham, he's doing his thing. So yeah, I mean everybody in Hobson.
What about Butch running the bases? Butch was displaying some speed on the base pass during the tournament, and in particular on Sunday. What I said about Butch is, you don't think about Butch being fleet of foot, but what he does, he builds momentum. And when he gets all that momentum rolling down the track, Butch is hard to stop.
Yeah, he's running with a purpose. And running with a purpose.
He is hard to stop. So producer Brad, the game is over. We win. And all of a sudden I start getting text from Brad, and they're pictures that are clearly being taken out in the vicinity of the pitcher's mound. And I replied to him, I'm like, wait a minute, are you on the field right now? And he's like, yeah. So Brad, how did you wind up on the field?
I just, one of the first keys is to act like you belong, right? So, I think I want to say Chip was probably one of the first ones on the field, Chip Fisher. And so there was a couple parents, and then the rest just kind of started walking their way down there. And I think it was Mr. Butcher started walking that way, and they weren't sure exactly how to get down there. So I showed them to where the gate was, and just kind of followed them in.
Well played.
The security lady was like, "Hey, if you got the right colors on, you look like you belong." So just walked out on the field and just took the sights and sounds in with everybody, and just had a good old time and hung out with the team.
Man, that is so awesome. I mean, you just those are, we're all about the experience, right? And those are one of a kind experiences. You just don't get to do that. You made a great call, pulling the trigger, going to Houston, and man, you got rewarded in a big way. So we've probably made a conference tournament convert of you, have we not?
Well, I mean, I was the one like, "Hey, do we have plans? Do we have plans?" So I mean, I was one to go. It was just a matter of, is anybody else coming with me? So
this was a lot more fun than Ruston, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah.
Of course it was. So, I mean, as Brad is getting off the field, Kevin and I are at his home in Concord, and we're texting, trying to find out the flight number, because we want to be on campus when the team rolls back in. And as it turned out, I don't know, Kevin, what was it? Was it about 1 a.m.?
It's all a blur, but yeah, it was around that. It was definitely AM.
Yeah, it was definitely AM. The team comes rolling back onto campus and getting off the bus, and I don't know. You want to say there's, I don't know. You want to say there's 20, 24 people out there at 1 o'clock in the morning?
30. I'd say 30 to 40.
Okay, that's fine. But there's a crowd out there, and I don't think the guys were necessarily thinking that was going to happen, because the bus backs into that parking lot there at the Wells Fargo Fieldhouse, and they're kind of looking out the window like, what in the world's going on here? Man, it was a scene. The video is out there. I went live. It's my wife has gone and watched it. I haven't watched it. I got caught up in it, so I went live on the cell phone. But once the guys started getting off the bus, I just totally got wrapped up in it, and I was still holding the phone, but just interacting with everyone. So it was probably a friend of ours, Charles Pipkins, labeled that video the Blair Nick Project. For everything that happened, the video quality and everything.
Nick just started walking around campus between the Hayes and the clubhouse and video, and I don't know what he was doing. I need to go back and watch it, but we were excited. We were excited, and it was late. It was very late.
It wasn't late. It was early.
Early.
And the video, I think the video, if anything, it gives you a flavor of what it was like to be there, especially if you were maybe experiencing some dizziness. So it was awesome. The guys were so pumped up, even after the long day they had, and they were fired up. And then heck, we got back. We made it back to campus for the a few hours later, it seemed like, for the selection show. So I mean, what an awesome deal. Hey, check it out. Let's check out the waiting room here. Let's go ahead and bring on the voice of the Niners, Joe Templin, wearing a shirt from the Don Ho collection. Joe Templin, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, I know everyone's we're just getting back from dinner. We got some ice cream down in the lobby, so guys are hammering that right now.
What kind of ice cream, man?
We had like 6 different flavors. I think there was a vanilla, there's a mint chocolate chip, chocolate, a strawberry, a fudge one, and then cookies and cream got eviscerated right off the bat. The guys were all over cookies and cream.
So awesome. Well, man, let's just get right to the heart of the matter. We got to talk to you for the first time on this show last week, and you were talking about your experience. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but you were at HPU prior to this, and you guys didn't stream, right?
Correct.
So
yeah.
So you came here, and part of the deal was now you were calling games. So you come here, you're calling this phenomenal tournament run. Your call of the final out, the Kings of Conference USA from the Queen City was fantastic. And now 1 week later, we're talking to you again, and you, my friend, are on the verge of calling an NCAA tournament game. Walk us through that feeling.
I mean, as of right now, it doesn't really feel any different. It's it's the cliche coach speak answer that I'm sure all the guys are going to give you. Ask them what this feeling was about. But honestly, for me, it's really calling the game is kind of the exact same thing as I normally would, except it seems like tomorrow we're just going to have a little bit extra time between starting lineups and first pitch with all the stuff that's going to get announced and everything like that. So it's really just the same amount of prep. If anything, it's probably a little bit less prep than the conference tournament because it's half the teams. And the team that we're playing first in Tennessee, they're these SEC teams and ACC teams that's what you see about. We go on the road and Thursday night these series are starting a day early just so they can get that night ESPN airtime. So you're kind of familiar with them. Obviously, you're familiar with the Conference USA teams as well, but that's 8 teams. You got to go back and be like, all right, like what were these guys all about that we played 2 months ago, and stuff like that. So honestly, it's prep wise, it's going to be the exact same. The only thing different was I had to fill out the waiver because Westwood One owns all the radio rights for NCAA tournaments all across every sport. And I didn't get that waiver until earlier today. So I hope it went through all right, and we can still get that broadcast up on CUSA.tv.
So, tell us say a little more about that. You had to sign over your broadcast rights to Westwood One, and they control the broadcast that you're going to do now, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the NCAA has an exclusive rights deal with Westwood Run and Learfield for all their championship events. But like teams and local stations can still do it. They have to basically buy the rights. But and from what I read going through the waiver, we shouldn't have to pay anything because it's audio only. We're not going to a parent station. It's free. We don't have commercials or ads. So sorry, Wheels and Darren, I'm probably gonna have to kill that Grand Slam club plug. But since we hit all those boxes, it sounds like that the fee itself will get waived, and we won't have to pay a couple $100 to get this broadcast up and going for this tournament.
Joe, you've had some time you've had a long trip back from Houston. You've had some time to sit back and think about this tournament. Give me a few things that stuck out to you from that week last week and that great 49er run through the tournament to raise the trophy at the end. What are a couple of things that stood out to you aside from Cam Fisher's phenomenal week?
Right. I mean, I think the biggest thing is just the fact that we had our backs up against the wall for 4 straight days, 5 straight games, and every single time, we rose to the challenge. And it wasn't just smooth sailing through those games. The UTSA game was fairly easy. La Tech, we handled business there. We played a much cleaner game than game 1. But then the doubleheader against Middle Tennessee. I mean, the first game, it wasn't as close as the score looked because of that grand slam in the 9th inning. But that second game was a grind. I mean, you got to beat a team 5 times in a span of 9 days. That's not an easy thing to do. And both teams are fighting for their seasons at that point. So just the back and forth there and getting that run that we needed late was really clutch to see. Of course, it was Cam Fisher going the other way, getting that flare job out there. And then against DBU going down early, that second pitch home run, that's the type of play where it can take the wind out of your sails, or you can rally back and, brush it off. And that's exactly what the guys did, buying into that chip in a chair mentality that we had all season long, or not season, all tournament long, after that first game. So that was really great to see. And then coming back, having that big inning, and it was honestly kind of shocking just to see how poorly DBU played in that game, playing for the championship, being so fresh, only playing 3 games. The 3 errors that they made and 6 wild pitches, like that was just something that I couldn't believe while I was watching it. Like they couldn't get out of their way, and all the breaks seemed to fall our way.
So, Joe, you got time to hang with us here for a minute?
Of course.
Producer Brad, let's put Joe.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, look at there. Okay. Wow.
The whole
Man,
game.
everybody.
Okay. So, geez, it's like this is like the Brady Bunch or something. Am I supposed to look down at Woody? We've got the Brady Bunch, and Joe's dressed like he's like he's at the 4077, and this is fantastic. This is like the best episode ever. Let's just start here. Let's see how I can maybe organize this. We here at Diamond Niner Report don't know the recipe, but we know our next guest is so friggin' saucy. First time ever on the show, shortstop Jack Dragum. What's up, Jack?
What's going on, guys?
Man, we're pretty jacked about this. If you can't tell, I know you guys just got back for dinner. What'd you have that was good to eat?
I actually got some seafood in a half of a ribeye. Me and Paxton split. Got the best of both worlds.
Dang. Joe, we forgot to ask
what
you.
kind of ice cream?
I had a chipwich with cookies and cream, and I had a vanilla bowl. So I'm going to have to run the treadmill or something tonight.
He's fueling up. He's fueling up, man. Fueling up for a run.
Hey, just field a few extra grounders in the morning. It'll work out. Joe, what did you eat?
I got the salmon, and they didn't tell us that it came with a pistachio topping, so I had to send that one back. So no tonight. But
man.
was on top of it this time, and the salmon was really good.
Coach Woody, what'd you order?
I went simple, meat ribeye, medium rare, and then I pulled the executive card and got a pint of Jenny's ice cream, brown butter almond brittle for the win on dessert.
Okay, man. Okay. So we've got a great crowd watching here live on YouTube tonight. If you want to jump in the comments section and pass along, we always do question and comments, but if you want to pass along well wishes, producer Brad will just pop them right up there on the screen. So see, look at here. Look at there, Joe. That must be for you.
My mom.
So, Jack, we're gonna get you off to the treadmill here, but we want to talk to you for a little bit. This is the first time we've ever had you on, dude, and it's really a shame because you've been here for 3 years, man, and like you're like our unsung hero here because you have been a rock, not only at short but at the plate for 3 years. And low key, I mean, I was looking at some of your stats today, dude, and some of the things you've accomplished. You're one of the more accomplished players in program history that maybe doesn't get a lot of the accolades that they deserve, but you're getting them from us because I'm sitting right here telling you, man, Jack Dragum, you're the freaking man. What's your response to that?
Thank you. I mean, got some more to prove this week, obviously. But I mean, I'm not here for individual rewards. I want to, do what I can for the team. That's kind of my goal every day is to bring the team together and do the things that we need to win. So I'll take a team reward over an individual reward any day of the week. Just kind of doing what the team needs. And I mean, I appreciate you guys letting me know how much, I've done and the individual things I've done, but I kind of get more into the team stuff and would do anything for wins this weekend and to continue my career and stuff like that.
Well, Jack, congrats on made all tournament team and all conference this year. Congrats on that. Sometimes I guess us Niner fans take it for granted that you over at shortstop. It seems like every time the ball goes over there, it's an easy out in my mind. But how do you stay so consistent defensively over there at shortstop? What goes into that day in and day out?
Reps would be pretty important. There's nothing I love more than taking ground balls. I like to do it as much as I can every day. And then I would say not taking anything for granted, like any ground ball can get you. Like the easiest ones always tend to get people. So just don't take it for granted, get back to the fundamentals, do the things the right way. And a lot of times they make your plays look good anyway. So yeah, just stick to the fundamentals, trust the preparation you put in, trust what your coaches are telling you, and trust your teammates. I know if I get the ball over there in time, I'm going to get picked up by whoever's over there. Yeah, get back to the fundamentals, trust your teammates.
Now, Jack, let's just jump right to the heart of the matter here. You went viral a little bit this week. In fact, you've made your debut on John Boy Media account, which is a great baseball account. If you're not out there following, I think probably most people, if you're watching this show, know about John Boy. You said you'd be willing to do anything to get a win, and the play you made in the bottom of the seventh against Dallas Baptist certainly qualifies as that. You performed maybe the best deke play of all time on the Dallas Baptist runner in a key situation where the Niners really needed a double play. Walk us through that play, man.
Yeah, so the deke, it's not something that I really think about that much during the game. It's kind of like I go through it off the field sometimes and just thinking what I can do to help a team win, stuff like that. And then, when the situation calls for it, and I was fortunate enough that my mind went there and that I was able to do it. And then, props to Dante for being at the bag and making it look real, and props to Jake in the outfield catching the ball and knowing what to do when he got it. But yeah, just kind of feeling the flow of the game, feeling the situation out, and just kind of having the mindset of what can I do to help my team win, even when the ball is not coming to me, or where can I be, or what can I do to make an impact on the play.
And if you're out there and you're wondering what we're talking about and you haven't seen the video, go back and watch that double play to end the seventh again. The runner at first, one out, a fly ball is hit center field. The ball ends up in Jake Cunningham's glove out in center field. But the problem is the runner from first was watching Jack pretend to field a grounder, toss it to Dante, who pretended to turn the double play. And the runner totally bought it and went into second hard, trying to break up a double play that didn't exist. And by the time he realized what was going on, it was too late. And Jake, as Jack pointed out, made a great play to double him off back at first. Now, what did you get a good look at this guy's face when he realized that you had got him?
I saw him for a split second as he was standing on the bag, even before the play had fully happened. He was kind of in disbelief, I think, as most people would be. It was kind of a laughable moment for me and Dante because we talk about it all the time, and the fact that it worked in a big situation, it was pretty cool, pretty surreal. But yeah, just shock on his face.
There was shock on my face too, Kevin.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then they came back from break and they broke it down in slow mo. That was, man, we were loving it. But how many times you do that in a game or during the season? Just on average,
like definitely on one hand, the time that's worked. I've probably done it a few more times when it hasn't worked or they just haven't picked me up at all. But yeah, it's something that the situation doesn't come up in baseball much, but I like to try to be ready for it when it does. Take advantage of a guy not looking at the ball or looking in and looking at me. Yeah, probably under 5 times it's happened. Definitely under 5 that it's worked.
Cool.
Now, I'll tell you this, Jack. Kevin points out they were all over it when we came back from break, but we were already rewinding the broadcast to look at it because I swear Will Lancaster was texting me about this play before I even saw it, because my phone started blowing up and it was Will. And he was like, oh my God, go back and look at Jack. Go look at Jack. And so we rewound it. And because, a play like that happens as a fan. And the camera, of course, the camera is showing the ball go to center field. But you're there. You can see what you're doing. And that, Will was all over that, and that's why he's the best in the business. And we employ him here at Diamond Niners Weekly as a part-time co-host.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely something that doesn't get noticed much. And I feel like you got to know baseball to look for something like that. especially when the camera's going to the ball. Everyone's following the ball. But yeah, that's like I said, it's just something that I try to do to help the team win. And even if I don't get noticed for it, which usually you wouldn't get noticed for this, but I love the attention and the fact that I did get noticed. But yeah, it's pretty neat that Will saw that before anyone.
Yeah, so there's Ginger saying that video, that video that's making the rounds on the internet is apparently a cell phone video that Kevin took of his television screen at his house. So I guess Kevin, if you want to get technical, not only has Jack made his John Boy debut, so have you.
Wow. Well, we all have here. So Diamond Niner Report's going nationwide, I guess. I want to kind of change gears a little bit here, Nick. Jack, it's your first time on our show. It's your first time on our show. Tell us a little bit about your story to get here to Charlotte, and tell us how you became a Niner.
Yeah, so as most people know, I started my career at UVA, which I have the utmost respect for. The program and everything just didn't work out for me, so I ended up going the junior college route. On the COVID season, shortened season, and they reached out to me and had the trust in me, and without even really seeing me play that much, and put their trust in me. So, that's all I could ask. And I took a visit up here early spring of COVID season. Absolutely loved it. Fell in love immediately. Me and my dad were on the way home. We didn't call right away because we didn't want to seem like too jumpy and desperate. But yeah, I knew right away this is where I wanted to come. And I wouldn't change anything. Wouldn't change being here for 3 years or anything that's happened this year, last year, any of the years I've been here. Everything seems just about perfect. The fit was perfect. Love the coaches kept trusting me. I'll never be thankful enough for that even through my lows and highs, they trusted me the whole time, rode with me the whole time. I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful that my life has brought me here and that the journey of baseball has brought me here.
So, Jack, I want to follow that up. I want to ask you a question about pitching because it comes up often. People go, Dragum can pitch. So when you first committed, the staff gave us a heads up and says, hey, you guys better look into this guy because we found a shortstop. And we started following you in the CPL that summer. Kevin, was that the Peninsula Pilots?
Peninsula
Right?
Pilots,
yeah. Peninsula Pilots, the CPL. We started following you that first summer, and pretty much all you did was pitch. At times we were like, are we following the right guy? Are there two Jack Dragons? Because all you did that summer was pitch for the Pilots. So talk a little bit about your alter ego as a pitcher.
Yeah. So that summer I had a hurt quad most of the summer. So I was helping the team as a pitcher, doing what I can. But growing up, my dad was he ran a throwing program. A lot of pitchers came to him for stuff. So I was kind of breeded as a pitcher. Always played the infield as well, and ended up falling in love with the infield late middle school, early high school. Still pitched and practiced it, but I knew that infield is where I wanted to be. I enjoyed being out there every day. I didn't really like breaks and not playing, so I fell in love with infield. But if we ever need an inning, I'm still good to go. Arm feels good. My dad still always tells me you want to pitch some, but I fell in love with infield, but I can still pitch if I have to. I won't walk anybody. I know that.
Well, right now you've got a career 0.00 ERA for the Niners. So unless Woody's got some tricks up his sleeve, that you're probably going to end up with a 0.00 ERA.
Oh yeah.
Woody, I can tell you if he goes into a game, we're all gonna be pulling for a 0.00 ERA to finish his career.
So
I'll tell you that much.
Jack, I'll tell you a quick story. For those who don't know, Jack's dad Charlie was a baseball player, played collegiately at VCU. And when Charlie played for VCU, they shared a league with the Niners. That was the old Metro. And so Jack's dad Charlie played games at the Hayes back in the day. So much so that when we were discussing the scoreboard being replaced with the beautiful new video board, Charlie and I were having a conversation about how old that scoreboard was. And I looked at him and I said, Charlie, when you crossed the plate here, when you played and you scored a run, that run was put on the scoreboard we just took down. And he looked at me and said, no, there had to be another one in between. No, dude, that was the scoreboard. You and your son, your runs were registered on the same scoreboard. So see, you guys have that father-son bond in baseball, but you also you also scored runs on the same scoreboard. How about that?
Pretty neat. Must have been a long time the scoreboard was there.
Yes.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
You just had to get that in for your pops, didn't you, Jack?
Yeah. He still looks good. Decent.
Yeah.
He still looks like I don't know. He still looks like he could play to me. I mean, I'd still trust Charlie over there.
Don't tell me that he might hurt himself.
Let's just say you'd want Charlie in the lineup before me and leave it at that.
Jack, so you're senior this year. Tell us a couple of great memories you'll take from your time at Charlotte as you've graduated and then you're about to move on to the next step of your career.
Yeah, I think I cherish the bus rides, meals with the team, just hanging out, a lot of just bonding with the guys kind of stuff. But I think it's hard to say the best memory I haven't had wasn't this past week, doing what no one thought we could. No one expected us to be in the NCAA tournament, but besides everyone on our bus, that kind of became our motto, is screw everyone else that's not on this bus. We got everyone we need here. And then the fact that we saw that come to fruition and hugging all the seniors and realizing, man, we got one more week together at the very minimum. It was a great feeling and something I'll never forget, putting on the hat after we beat DBU after winning 5 games in 4 days. There's no better feeling that I've ever felt in my life than that. So that's going to be definitely a tough memory to beat, but I think we can beat it this weekend and throughout the next couple weeks.
So, man, I'm just getting fired up listening to you, dude. It's hard not to get fired up listening to you guys talk. We're gonna get you off to I don't know, maybe the treadmill or to get ready for bed, whichever it happens to be. But one story I'm going to tell on you, Jack, from this season that I think that people should know is there was a young girl in the stands earlier this season that caught a foul ball, and she ended up having to give the foul ball back. And she was in tears over having to give this foul ball back, and went over there, talked to the young girl, and there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying at the Hayes. In talking to her and her mom and dad, she told me that her favorite player was Jack Dragum because he's number 6, and he's 6, and so am I, is what she said. And I said, you know what? Okay, that's cool. Let's meet Jack Dragum after the game. And after the game, you took time out of your schedule, have just come off the field to talk to that young lady, pose for pictures, do the whole thing. And man, you're an awesome representative for this program and the 9 across the chest. And I think that story encapsulates just a little bit of what Jack Dragum's all about. Man, we couldn't be more proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. That means a lot.
All right, Jack, we're going to let you go, man. You have officially survived your first appearance on Diamond Niners Weekly. I know viewership goes up when you're on, so I know your mom and dad and the whole family's watching back in Virginia. So all you folks in Virginia, stay with us even though Jack's leaving, because now we're going to talk to Woody and Joe.
Gotcha. Thank you guys for having me. Go Niners. Let's get it. Let's go.
All right. See you tomorrow, Jack.
Good, Jack. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Great job, Jack.
Go get him, buddy. Man, that's awesome. Where do y'all find these awesome guys, Woody?
Coach Beck. He can find them.
Yeah,
he can find
Big
them.
Vic's.
I remember when we first got a commitment and you guys were talking. You guys were really excited when we got Jack Dragum committed to Charlotte. So talk a little bit about that.
So Jack, I remember watching Jack play. I think he was with the Richmond Braves organization as like a 14 or a 15-year-old when I was the pitching coach at Virginia Tech. And he was more of a pitcher because he was like already throwing like 90, 91 miles an hour as a 14, 15-year-old. And he committed to Virginia at a very young age. And I remember being frustrated because I was over at Virginia Tech and I hadn't even gotten him to campus yet. And I'm like, geez, like this is what we're up against. So, I lost that recruiting battle years back now. And, just kind of just followed him. And so as soon as he went in the portal, Coach, I kind of told Coach Bick how talented he was and how much, what I remember of him and that sort of thing. And then Coach Bick rode over and saw him play at Lewisburg and texted me and called me and like, yeah, he's a no-brainer. Like he can play shortstop for us right now. And so him and his dad came on a visit and Jack was pretty quiet and didn't say a whole lot. His dad, Charlie, asked like just tons of great questions all day. And you could just tell they were baseball people and his dad's a longtime coach and you could just really tell that they wanted to finish their career. Jack wanted to finish his career. He wanted his next school to be his last school and he wanted to finish his career on a high note. And, those are things that we talked about in the recruiting process. And, here we are 3 years later and I'm just so thankful to be his coach. And I love writing Jack's name in the lineup card every single day, virtually every single day for 3 years. He's our right-handed hitters are in red ink and our left-handed hitters are in blue ink, so I pull out the red marker for Jack, and write that name a lot. And I'm sure as heck going to miss writing that name next year because he absolutely is one of the best. He's one of the best shortstops in the country. And, for the limited knowledge I have of our entire history of Charlotte baseball, 40 plus years, he's one of the best shortstops in our program's history. There's no doubt about it. And I'm just so proud of him, getting his degree from here, helping us get to this stage of the NCAA tournament twice. We would not be here without him. So like he said, we're gonna give everything we got to keep these guys playing for as long as possible.
Yeah, and that's we are definitely here for that. We're all Here we go. Here's some intel we need. So Tony's making reference to Coach O's hair. We got Joe and Woody. Can you give us some intel? Has anybody seen Coach O's hair?
The stylist canceled on him.
Oh, okay.
It didn't happen?
His stylist canceled. He's got a stylist, He's Coach O. He can't do the makeshift stuff. He's got to have a stylist, and his stylist canceled, and so even more motivation to make it to a super.
That's right.
So after making the bet with the pitching staff that if they broke the record, he would go blonde. Coach O's stylist.
Yeah.
Stylist. I mean, how does this even happen? You're telling me that, we could get a bottle of peroxide. I mean, this is not rocket science. I mean,
Coach O's, he's a busy man. He's got a traveling secretary. He's got a stylist. He's got, it's a tight schedule. And so when a stylist cancels, you can't get it done. I don't know what to say.
It'll happen eventually, right?
Did you say are you all dyeing your beards blonde with him? Is that what the bet was that part of the bet?
I don't think
mustache blonde.
I'm up for whatever. I don't whatever. I'm if that's what it takes, but I can tell you this. I don't have a stylist. I don't know if you know that about me or not, but I don't have a stylist.
No.
Oh. Well, Coach, congratulations. Congratulations on raising a trophy. Tournament championship, your second NCAA tournament in 3 seasons. I know you don't want to look back, you're looking forward right now, but we talked to you tonight before the championship. Take us through the Saturday, what was that? Sunday. It was Sunday. Take us through Sunday.
Yeah, I
DBU.
mean, it just yeah, we were on game 6 of the 5th day, and it kind of felt like everything felt like right on rhythm as far as the previous days. So the vibes in the dugout and pregame meal and everything, everybody just everybody was loose, everybody was ready to go, nobody was tired, nobody was tight or tense or anything. It was just like, let's go do this, like we're going to do this, and everybody was talking about that in that term. And then I asked, we kind of have a little bit of a pitching staff rule where if your spikes are on, you're available, and if your spikes are off, you're not. And so obviously, in that type of a tournament, you're asking a lot of pitchers to get, to overextend a little bit, maybe more than normal. So Coach O, I had a conversation with Coach O and about, I really needed to know who was available, because I thought it was going to, could come down to the wire as far as, who was able to pitch and who wasn't, that sort of thing. And so when he came back, there was actually a lot more names available to pitch, both lefties and righties, that I really anticipated. And so, he and I had a conversation about, kind of how we thought the game could go. And we talked about some, different guys and what roles and situations. And, and then we kind of got to the last 3 outs of the game. We're like, okay, 3 outs to go, 1-run lead. I just looked at him and I said, I think CK can do it. And he goes, oh yeah, he can definitely do it. And so, he was on 1 day's rest after a start, and I knew he didn't have much in the tank. And, dang if he didn't give us 5 outs, I mean, it was just the whole pitching staff, was incredible. And, if anybody out there wants to knock our pitching staff, you can knock me, because those guys are warriors. And they sold out, to we had guys throwing on starting, and then 1 day later throwing 2 innings, and we had Donnie Evans throwing 4 appearances in a game. We had Wyatt Hudapole throwing 77 pitches on Wednesday, 3 days rest, throwing 6 innings on Sunday. I mean, it was just everybody giving it everything they possibly had to win the championship and continue our season. And, it just kind of felt like over the course of the game that we were going to do it. And because we gave up the solo home run to start the game, and then we fell behind 2-0. And then Brandon Stallman steps up there and hits a solo home run, and we make all kinds of defensive plays left and right. And, and then we're able to scratch it across and tie and take the lead and that sort of thing, and keep making defensive plays and keep making big pitches. And, we just sprint. We all really the last 2 or 3 innings, all we were talking about was sprinting through the finish line, sprint through the finish line. We don't ever count outs here. It's not 3 outs to go. It's not 6 outs to go. It's not 9 outs to go. You just play until they tell you to stop. And that's exactly what the guys did. And I'm so proud of them, because, those videos will live on forever. Those will be memories forever. The 2023 team will be Conference USA tournament champions and NCAA, tournament, NCAA tournament team forever. And those are big deals. And just so proud of them. And I probably talked a little longer than I wanted to, but it was an amazing feeling and something I've really never been a part of as a coach.
I was counting the outs. I was doing it though. I know you guys weren't, but I was counting it down for the fans.
Yeah. Hey,
that's okay, Joe. That's okay.
If you want to, when you're lifting hardware, you talk as long as you want. And wow, producer Brad, did you go retro on us? Oh, he's gone blonde. He's showing us his blonde hair. That's what producer Brad wants us to see. Look at that.
Is that Hanson? The band?
If I only had their money.
that's Mbop Brad.
Yep.
That's great.
So one, that's proof that producer Brad indeed had hair, and two, it was blonde. So
that's awesome.
That was right after we just got finished playing a set at the Dirt Motor Speedway. So
Oh, that's cool.
So it is Hanson. It is Hanson.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you were Johnny on the spot with that. That was so great. Just a reminder, if you're out there, folks are sending their well wishes along. If you want to do that, drop them in the chat. Seen our buddy Tony Poovey there, Alan Farmer writing in. Both those guys are coming to Clemson tomorrow. Coach, I've heard from. I know you have, because my phone, our phones, social media, text, everything have just been blowing up all week long about that. James says you're a hell of a guy. We tend to agree with James.
Thanks, James.
It's just been unbelievable, the amount of people that are reaching out and want to be around this, want a piece of this. Is this not fantastic?
It is. I mean, Charlotte baseball is a family, and it's a family that spans across decades, and it doesn't matter, which coach you played for, or whether you were a student manager 20 years ago, a bullpen catcher 10 years ago, an All-American first team player 5 years ago. It doesn't matter. Like everybody that's ever had a hand in Charlotte baseball success is a part of this. That's the way it works. And, that's the strength in numbers is a real thing. And we want everybody that has ever been affiliated with Charlotte baseball to feel that, and to watch us at 6:00 tomorrow night take on, a really talented Tennessee team in a big environment, and and be proud. And if you can't be in Doug Kingsmore, because there's people coming out of the woodworks, there's standing room only seats. I don't even know if there's any available now. But our guys are worth it. Our players are worth the price of admission, and they are worth, watching and being proud of. Like I said, no matter what generation you're from, with Charlotte baseball, and the entire city of Charlotte should be extremely proud of what this group has done and is doing, and what we believe we are going to do.
Yeah, speaking of generation, we have a generational player on the team now. Today we found out that Cam Fisher was named the 12th All-American in program history. We've talked about him a lot this year, but he can't get enough accolades from us. I'll talk a little bit more, just briefly, about Cam's tournament season career here at Charlotte, Coach.
It's unbelievable. I'm literally in the coaches meeting today, and every single coach is like, they're like, dude, Cam Fisher, like 30 homers. Are you serious? I'm like, I know, man. I was like, I got the best seat in the house. I don't have to every time I see him walking up, I know I don't have to put a sign on. It's great. So, it just couldn't happen to a better person. It's like, he does it in the classroom. He does it in the community. He does it in the locker room. He does it in the weight room. Like he's just, when your best players are your best people and your hardest workers, it's why you coach. It's why you coach. I'm a better coach and I'm a better person because I get to be around Cam Fisher every day. That is a fact. And I know all of our coaches would say the same thing too. And, I just hope that we get to watch him play as long as possible through this weekend, into next week, into the next week, and into the next week. Like that, those are the types of things. It's like, why do you guys want to win so bad? Like, we want to watch Cam Fisher, Jack Dragum, Austin Knight, Will Butcher, Jake Cunningham, et cetera, Caden House. We want to watch all these guys play together as long as possible because it's a special group.
Well, Coach, we're gonna let you go unwind for the remainder of your evening here, but we'll give you. It's gonna be a lot of there's gonna be a lot of orange. Clemson, South Carolina this weekend. All the orange that the Clemson fans don't bring, the Tennessee fans will. But I feel like there's going to be a fair amount of green down in South Carolina this week too. But we'll give you here before we let you go. We'll give you the last word to Niner Nation before we get this regional started tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just can't thank everybody listening and watching and following enough. Every season has its shares of adversities and ups and downs, and I'm just so proud of the fact that there was never a down moment, a down part of the season or a downturn or a tough weekend or a tough game where our players gave up or they let up or they just. I told them in the dugout after we took all the team photos and after all the celebration and hugging family members and all those great moments, I got the guys together and I said, this is the moment. This is the moment that will hopefully stay with you guys the rest of your lives, where you know that you can accomplish anything as long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other and you keep fighting the fight. Nothing can stop you. Every single person in our program, and that is a very powerful message because, life is full of adversity. Life is full of obstacles and challenges. It doesn't matter how talented or how, benefited you are by certain circumstances. What our guys went through to accomplish what they accomplished on Sunday to be champions is special. And I just, as their coach, I hope that stays with them the rest of their lives and through this weekend, and the next few weeks, because we do get to keep playing. And I've always been a big believer that, when you're talented and you play loose with no pressure, you can be dangerous. And that's how we're playing right now. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited to cut them loose tomorrow night and watch them play.
Well, Woody, we'll see you and Doug Kinsmore tomorrow night, along with the few thousand of our closest friends. And man, can't wait to watch it.
It's gonna be awesome, guys. Appreciate you guys, and everybody who's making the trip down tomorrow and this weekend. Be safe and be loud.
Colleges with the team. Okay, all right. That works. I'll have to give some thought to that later, James. But Woody, we're gonna let you go, bud. Good night. Get some rest, and man, we'll see you at 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
See you guys. Get some rest.
Safe travels. Coach.
All right. Good night.
Thanks,
Woody.
guys.
All right. So, Joe,
I'm here.
These guys, you spent all day with these guys. You rode. Well, I guess you guys rode the bus down. Been at dinner with them tonight. And these guys are fired up.
Yeah, it was. They were really loose during batting practice today. We were able to get all of our pre-practice warm-up activation stuff done on an auxiliary field. So by the time we got to the stadium, it was just hit the ground running, get straight into defensive rotations, and then BP. So the third group, which is Austin, Jake, Jack, Will, and Cam, they got a little bit extended time so that we used up our full 75 minutes. I mean, at the end, it was basically just a home run derby, like who could hit the most jacks at BP, and the guys were having a lot of fun. You saw pitchers out there trying to rob home runs. Calvert Clark took one back in center field. Blake got up there, took care of one and left. So just a lot of good vibes around the team, and a lot of fun was being had during that practice time today.
Joe, I wanted to ask you about the. Are we in third base dugout again? Do they have some kind of rule like Conference USA had, where the home team has a certain dugout, or the away team has a certain dugout?
Yeah, so home team will always be on the first base dugout. So tomorrow we're on the third base side as the visiting team. But then one thing I found out how the home and away designation works, it's not just the higher seed like it was at Conference USA. It's if you were home last game, you flip flop. So and then the only time, so there's like sets of tiebreakers, which is if you've both been the home team a certain amount of times, then it goes to whoever's been the road team less, and so on and so forth. So obviously we're the road team against Tennessee tomorrow because it goes off a higher seed. But then, if we're playing Clemson, who is the home team, if we're playing Clemson on Saturday, we'll be the home team. They'll still be on their first base side, but we'll technically be the home team. And then if we play Lipscomb, we would also be the home team and we'd be on the first base side because we're both the road team and we're the higher seed at that point.
We saw that play out in Durham during the softball tournament where the Niner gals were the home team against Duke. So that's one of those quirks of NCAA tournament ball. So you guys, so you've been out around the stadium. I know you called the game there earlier this season, but how much time have you gotten to spend checking out their facilities there? Because Kevin and I were pretty impressed walking around, but they've got that whole facility over there on the first base side, which I'm assuming goes down to a locker room down below. Have you gotten to see any of that stuff? Do any sightseeing at the stadium?
No, so we were in there for the administrative meeting today with all the teams. We were just they have a meeting room, kind of like we have the football meeting room where we watch the selection show. Theirs faces out to the field on just about the concourse level there. But we did not get to go to the very top or down below. It was just walk into this one room, their meeting room for the administrative meeting, and then out. So I've basically done a full lap, I want to say at this point, through various times, going through, entering in the left field gate, walking around the back to get to the auxiliary field, and then coming in down that right field line to get onto the stadium. They do have a nice wrap on the back side of their video board, which gave Coach some ideas because I know he wants to get something put on the back of our video board coming here soon. So I think he took a picture of it just to try and get some ideas on what to put in that. But the biggest interesting thing, so there's two interesting things I want to say with the field itself. The first, there's no warning track. It's just a hill. It's grass all the way to the end, and there's a little hill that goes up there. And then the other thing, also relating to the grass, is they paint the grass. They dye the grass to make it pop green. It looked very green, and I'm like, wow, this is really well maintained. But then you get back off the field, and the bottom of your shoes are like a light blue green type color because they dye the grass out there to make it look so good. So and then they've got two paw prints spray painted out there in the gaps in right center and left center. So if we've got Fish, Jake, or Blake going out there and laying out, they could have a blue and an orange streak across their pants when they come in.
So what I hear you saying is that that Clemson's Fields stylist did not cancel on them.
Yes, the stylist was definitely in, and they were mowing when we had the administrative meeting in a very weird pattern. You normally see straight lines. That's what you see, and then you get the little diamond effect. These are like waves, like they're trying to make circles or something like that. It was weird watching them mow that pattern. So when you show up tomorrow, you'll see kind of what I mean. Like it's wavy. So like if you're looking from center field, it's like waves going in all sorts of different directions. But then if you come down the side, you can actually see like a little slalom course down a ski slope.
That can't be good for outfielders, fielding grounders. I mean, the visual effects.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be like. I did spend a little bit of time during BP out in right field just because I wanted to feel what it's like to be a right fielder when Cam Fisher launches one over your head. Well, you can do is turn around and watch it go. He didn't hit any while I was out there, so I came in. As soon as I came in up by the turtle there, he cranked a few out. So I was like, yeah, I'll probably just stay behind the plate from now on.
Are they putting those lines in the field manually out there?
Yeah. So And that's just, I actually can speak on that with experience because I spent 4 years doing grounds on a golf course. It's basically, so you set the line once, and then with that, when you're mowing it so often, you just kind of follow the line that you already have, especially with a pattern like that. Um, when you're doing it just the straight lines, you'll go one day, like when we did it fairways and greens and stuff. You call it left to right. So like when you're looking at the hole, you start on the left side and then you go to the right side, and then the next day you'll go right to left, and then the next day you'll go straight on, so straight lines, and that's how you get that nice little diamond effect. But yeah, there's no guides or anything down there. It's just you start it, and the way they told us, you get on the mower and you look straight ahead. You pick something out there in the distance that you're going to go at, and you don't look down. You just go straight towards it, and that's how you get the straight lines. But yeah, with their curvy thing, they just got to go off of, I'm guessing, the route that they have been going. So that grass is always mowed in the same direction.
You know, I hear some of y'all out there thinking, well, how else would they do it? Now, Brad, Kevin, y'all know where I'm going with this. At Duke's Regional Softball, now, I guess 2 weekends ago, they have a robot that chalks their field. A little robot, I guess working on GPS, Joe, comes out and it does the circle, and then it does the baselines, and it does everything. So that's chalking, not mowing. But
Right.
Duke has a robot. Duke softball has a robot that chalks their field. That's why I got curious about how they were making these intricate patterns, because Duke's got robots.
Yeah, no, I didn't see any robots, and Clemson's one of those land grant universities big on agriculture, so I don't think they'd want robots taking those ag jobs out there in the field. That's on the job training.
That's
that
right.
that those groundskeepers, especially if they got any student helpers, on the job training they need for the rest of their careers.
Good point.
Joe, I hadn't had a chance to dig into the game notes yet, but I did see the release earlier where we announced the starter, Colin Kramer, versus going up against former 49er Andrew Lindsay for Tennessee. Talk a little bit about Colin Kramer getting start for the Niners tomorrow night.
Yeah, so he's been in and out of the rotation this season. He's started a lot of midweek games for us, and talking to Coach before his start in the tournament, he mentioned how CK has kind of been a giant killer for us. He got the start at Truist against South Carolina, got the win. Came in, got the win against Coastal. Didn't start that game, but a great relief outing after Miles got a good start for us. He started the game against Clemson in that stadium earlier this year. So just going with him, and I think normally we'd probably expect Wyatt to be in this spot since he's been the Friday guy all season long. But I think we want to give Wyatt a little bit of rest because he threw 77 on Wednesday, and then 3-4 days later is throwing 100 to get that quality start against DBU. So he was pretty taxed on a short rest, and I don't think Woody wants to do that again and run him out there. I mean, yeah, he's had now 5 days off, but he still threw 177 pitches, 4 days apart from each other. So just trying to get that arm back down to where it's used to with the normal usage level, get some feeling back in it, and I think he'll probably go for us on Saturday.
Any chatter on the bus ride down about the starting pitcher for Tennessee, Andrew Lindsay?
Not that I heard. I mean, typically on bus rides, I'm either working or watching a movie. So this time I was watching the movie. So I wasn't too privy on any of the conversations the guys were having. With a lot of the turnover you've had over the last couple of years with the roster, there aren't too many guys that are still on the team from when he was around. But obviously, they still know of him, and this coaching staff, is very familiar with him. So, it's not really surprising that this is who they went to. A little bit of a revenge game on both sides. And I was looking through the numbers, and I was like, oh, this is, if you want to get into it, this is a quintuple revenge game across the board, because you've got Lindsay playing against us, you've got Austin and Cam Hansen, who played for Tennessee before they came here eventually. Fish, who's from Knoxville, and then Tennessee was the first team we ever played in the NCAA tournament back in '93 with that 7-4 loss out in Knoxville. So trying to get back at them from that first NCAA game. So a lot of storylines here on both sides coming into this one.
Yeah, and the last time we faced them, we put a shutout on them 9-0 at the Hayes when they were, I think they were top 15 team 2021.
Yeah, I think they
So
were number 14 that year.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and their coach got ejected from the Hayes.
Oh,
So um, yeah, so there's some history there, and there's a lot of storylines going into tomorrow's game. So yeah, it should be a interesting matchup. Looking forward to getting down there tomorrow.
yeah. We're hopeful and appreciative of the big Niner crowd that we're going to get. I know for those of you in the Charlotte area that can't make it down, we've got the watch party. I think it's a neighborhood grill out there in Dilworth.
Dilworth Neighborhood Grill.
Yeah, that's the one.
On Moorhead.
Yep. So if you can't come down, obviously we want you to come down. But I know tickets were hard to come by. All the reserve seating was already gone by the time the tickets went on sale yesterday afternoon, and I saw some people were having issues with getting some tickets just because it's a hot commodity. You got Clemson. Obviously, their fans are fired up after the season they've had, the 16-game winning streak to end the regular season and the ACC tournament. You got Tennessee, who is a very passionate fan base. I don't know too much about Lipscomb. I'm sure they're going to travel well as well since it's the postseason. So tickets were going fast. So if you got them, great. Please come on down. If you're still thinking about it, I'm sure you can find some floating around there somewhere. We're hoping to come down, but if not, we got some options in Charlotte for folks back home to watch us, and you can always tune in on conferenceusa.tv as long as that radio waiver went through,
which we recommend you doing. That's the way we watch games now is listen to Joe while watching the broadcast. So we recommend you do that. And the knowledge you're dropping here, Joe, that's why we bring you on. It's fantastic. Now I've already asked you this question offline. In fact, I asked you this question on Monday. So we're gonna dance around it carefully here. You told us last time about your tradition of boarding the bus, and how about those Niners? What can you tell us about your entrance to the bus last Sunday after the championship game?
Yeah, it was similar to the ones before. I just stuck with Old Faithful. How about them Niners? Might have been a couple more colorful words in there to celebrate the championship, but yeah, just went back to the
adjectives.
Yeah, maybe. Not going to confirm or deny, but while the team was on the field and I was still up in the booth getting everything packed up, they were walking off, and it was just us, and the whole stadium was empty at this point. Our family and friends were on the field. I went over and asked the PA people to turn the music down a little bit so I could yell something out there, and popped open the window and yelled out, "How about them Niners?" to all the guys on the field that really got them fired up before they went over and got showered and got back to the airport, which was almost a disaster. That was we had to pull some audibles there as we pulled into the airport to make sure that we could get to the gate in time. Because if we followed the traffic patterns they wanted us to follow, we were not making that flight home.
So what? Your bus driver just kind of made his own way.
So Houston's airport's under construction, not unlike Charlotte's airport, but more of the construction is felt in the driving area. It's more of the traffic construction than interior construction. So to get to where our checkpoint was, it was kind of like a weave lane merging onto the highway where you've got the main drag going through, and then there's a loop that shoots out that loops around to where the check-in point is, and then that loops back into the main drag for you to exit. So we're getting over to get off on the loop, and we're stuck in traffic for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, and we still haven't made it to the loop yet. We haven't moved at all. And we made the executive decision that we were going to stop the bus right there, because at this point, it was right around an hour and a half until we took off. And with 60 bags that we needed to check. You need to make sure those are in by about an hour before the flight or so. Coach Simmons came back and he told the team 2 words: move efficiently. So we stopped the bus right where we were in the middle of the road. It wasn't middle of the road; it was over on the lane that was off to the side. But we put it in park. Bus driver got out and was holding traffic. I got under the bus, and Darren and I got under there and just started hucking bags out there. If you can find the owner, great. If not, just take it in there and we'll get it sorted out later. Helped carry a laundry bag in. We finally got into the ticketing counter, got all the bags checked, and then it's one by one, grab your ticket, go up there to security, and all the guys' bags got flagged going through all the carry-on bags for the guys got flagged. It was such a mad dash. We saw guys with water bottles still buried at the bottom of the bag. I think the individual trophies were setting it off because they were like kind of pointy on the top end of it. So Darren and I waited, Darren, our video guy that I room with, we waited until it was just Cam Fisher and Colin Kramer. Those were the last 2 getting through security. And by the time they got through, we had 20 minutes until we started boarding. And to get to our gate, it was maybe a mile walk. Like it took a solid 15 minutes of walking at a pretty good pace to get there in time. So I didn't have I didn't grab the pregame meal afterwards. I was trying to get it packed up because we were, for good reason, celebrating on the field for a good time. And then finally, like, oh crap, we got to get a move on. So I was helping guys get the underside of the bus. So I was like, oh, I'll just grab something, at the airport. All the quick service spots, the Subway, the Wendy's, the Panda, they either had a really long line, or in the case of Panda, I was like, oh, there's nobody in line. Well, that's because there was nothing left at Panda Express other than a couple egg rolls. They were shutting it down for the day at 7:30 on a Sunday. So it was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just wait until the plane lands and we get back in Charlotte. So popped down, finished up the recap, got that out, and I think I was one of the last 4 or 5 people on the plane there, trying to get it, and then posted the dog pile video as I'm walking down the aisle of the plane to get to my seat. So we did make it though. Trophy made it back. They had to take it up front. It wasn't going to fit under the seat of anybody, and we didn't purchase an extra seat for the trophy. So they kept it safe for us up front, and we were able to pick it up on the way out. So it all worked out all right.
So what I hear you saying, Joe, is after being the most dangerous man at the Conference USA tournament all week, the TSA was concerned about Cam's MVP trophy.
Yeah, and I guess his middle name was wrong or something on his ticket too, so they didn't let him through the first time. They had to bring like a supervisor over to even let him into the scanning lane, to then have to sit there an extra 5 minutes. Well, and they've only got one person working on each lane, and they've got 3 lanes coming in, so it's the one where it's like automated, where once it clears, it goes to the side where you can pick it up, and then if it doesn't clear, it gets sent to the other side of the glass. So all the guys were waiting around like, oh, there's my crate coming in. Oh crap, it got sent to the other side. And it's one person who's checking the ones at the end and then going to the monitor and bringing it forward. So we were backed up quite a bit there, waiting for everything to come through. And then a couple guys had to get their bags rescanned after they took some of the stuff out. It wasn't the nicest thing to go through. It wasn't the easiest thing, but at that point, after the championship, everything was fine. We were just going to roll with whatever came our way.
Are you telling me that Cam's official ID doesn't say Cam freaking Fisher?
No, it does not. And TSA wouldn't take it. TSA wouldn't believe us. Hey, this guy leads the country in home runs. He's good. No, they didn't care about that.
Well, when you hit 30 bombs, that puts you on some lists out there, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, especially when you say it like that.
That's right.
He can't get on the Golden Spikes watch list, but he can get on the TSA watch list.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think in anything, it's a lot easier to get on one than the other.
Oh my gosh. All right, Joe, we're gonna let you go, man, because you got to rest the pipes. Be ready tomorrow. If you are at all able to, we highly recommend that you tune in Go over to Conference USA TV. And as long as Joe's waiver paperwork is processed in a timely manner, you will be able to hear him call the game against Tennessee tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Well worth it. I don't know who's on the call. Actually, you know what? I did read who was on the call, and now I've forgotten. So I don't know who.
It wasn't Joe Templin, though.
But just listen to Joe.
You know what I'm going to tell you if you want to know who's on the call for ESPN? You want to know what I'm going to tell you?
What are you going to tell me?
Check the game notes.
Check.
Hey, I got him right here. Joe.
Got the shirt down there, ready to bust.
Tom Hart, play-by-play. Kyle Peterson, analyst. Wow, we got some heavy hitters down in Clemson.
Yeah, they had a good chat today with Coach and Cam Fisher. So I have high hopes for this weekend. Obviously, I don't get to hear it.
Good, but still listen to Joe.
I appreciate it. Hopefully, so I know a lot of people, probably everyone listening to this, is excited for our move to the American and away from Conference USA. But the one downside is we lose Conference USA TV, which for video is great, but for the radio streams, we're losing what I put the radio out on. So I don't know what we're going to put it on, if we're still going to have a radio broadcast next year, because being in the American, everything should be on ESPN. So that's something that we're going to have to figure out, department wise, like, are we still going to do radio, and how are we going to carry it if we do still have a radio broadcast? So what I'm saying is enjoy it this year while we know that it's still going to be here, as long as, the NCAA lets me do it. But get it while you can, because hopefully it's back next year, but it might not be.
Wow. Well, we hope it is. Not Conference USA TV, but your broadcast. We hope those are back. So, but tomorrow night, check out Joe Templin on the broadcast. It'll be well worth your time. You were a lot of fun to listen to last week, so it was awesome, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll have the pregame show again. I kind of try and I look at the link to the recording at when I'm done, and try and time it up so it ends right around the national anthem or so. So we'll play the fun math game tomorrow, but I'll probably at any rate be turning the crowd mic on around 5:40 or so, just to get something in there. And then we'll have the pregame show. We'll have to skip a couple questions before the game, and more bumper music in between. I've added a few songs to that playlist that I've heard here and there. So hopefully that's not the thing that's going to get us shut down by the NCAA overlords, but no ads though. So, might have to cut back on that Grand Slam Club, like I mentioned, but join it anyways. This is the plug now. Join the Grand Slam Club.
Join it anyway. Of course, if you're watching, if you've watched an hour and a half of us, you're probably a member of the Grand Slam Club. Yeah, I'm just
hopefully.
All right, Joe, we're going to let you go, buddy. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. See you guys tomorrow.
All right, Joe Templin.
See you, Joe.
All right, boys. We've been at this. That flew by. We've been at this almost an hour and a half now. I knew this show was going long, but hey, that's what it is, right? Just wait till you see how long. Just wait till you see how long the super regional show is.
Yeah, we got. So some of the stuff we didn't get to. Real quick, let's get to our all tournament team. We got Faxon Thompson on the all tournament team.
Mm-hmm.
Two heck of great outings during the tournament down in Houston. Jack Dragon, who we spoke to earlier, all tournament team. I think he hit 3 in one day, 3 homers in one day, 4 for the tournament maybe. There's Paxton. There's Jack and Stallman. We mentioned Stallman, big tournament. He had that big homer in the championship game. Solid defensively over third all week. And then to round it out, all tournament team was Cam Fisher, tournament MVP. Who else would it be? Who else would it go to? He had, 13 for 21, batted .619 over tournament, 6 homers, 13 ribbies, 33 total bases. I think 3 of those were Conference USA tournament records. So, and speaking of, we haven't mentioned this yet. Well, maybe we had last week, but he broke the 49er single season record for home runs. It was 28 or 27. He's broken that. He's tied the all-time career home runs total. He's got 48 homers for his career. He's only been here 2 years, and he's already at the home run career total mark. So, yeah, great player. Glad we get to watch him another week at least, maybe 2, hopefully 3.
There was we put out a tweet last week that I think just sums it up, certainly sums up the way I feel, is you can just thank God Almighty that you'll be able to tell people you saw Cam Fisher play baseball in a Niner uniform. Because that's seriously, Cam, that's going to be one of those things. It's 20 years from now, we're going to be talking to people like, well, you remember Cam Fisher? Oh, yeah, well, Cam Fisher, I mean, that's – we've really been fortunate to witness what we have here, and it's not over yet. So, real quick, you want to talk? Let's touch on. I see producer Brad's got the map keyed up here.
There we go.
We are going to try our level best tomorrow to meet up with the Clemson and Lipscomb play first, so there will be plenty of people there ahead of us.
The 1 o'clock game.
The 1 o'clock game. We're playing in the 6 o'clock. We are going to try our level best. Stay on Twitter. We'll try to update you there. We're going to try to get as many 49ers together as possible. Zach and Emily Hill own the 49er Express, which is a former school bus that they've converted into a tailgate rig, and they're bringing it down. And we're going to try to use that as sort of the epicenter for Niner Nation. And when they find a place to park the 49er Express, we will update you accordingly via Twitter. So, if you're not on Twitter, it's times like this you really need to be. If you don't like Twitter in general, I understand why. But for a weekend like this, create yourself a burner Twitter account and just follow Charlotte Baseball, follow us. Just to get information. We'll try to keep everybody up to date on where activities are taking place down there tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, what have you. So anyway, does that about cover it, boys?
Still got tons to talk about, but yeah, it's an hour and a half. We got to get some rest. We got a big day tomorrow. We
got to get up. Yeah, I think you get up and drive to Clemson in the morning. So it's that time, boys. Man, Charlotte, Tennessee NCAA tournament tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. I believe ESPNU, and turn on the TV and then mute it. Turn on Joe Templin if you are not in Clemson with us. And if you are in Clemson with us, say what's up, because we love that kind of thing. All right, folks, we're out of time. YouTube, wherever you find your podcasts, click and subscribe, turn on notifications for content, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Never TikTok, all that good stuff. Say hello at the ballpark, because we love talking to y'all. It's time to go get some of the NCAA tournament. So for Kevin, for producer Brad, we appreciate Joe, Coach Woody, and Jack Dragon joining us tonight. Until tomorrow, we will see you at the NCAA tournament. Good night, everybody.
We'll be right back.